Once upon a time, there was a big thing called On Digital. One day, it changed its name to ITV Digital. The end.
Welcome to WatchMojo UK, and today we're looking at the worst mistakes ITV has ever made.
There's cockroaches.
Oh, God. Ah!
Spiders.
That'll be the cockroaches then.
Number 20, daytime gets decimated.
Back here now, and there are changes to ITV's daytime programmes to shift money to primetime shows. More than 200 jobs will be lost.
Following the high-profile departures of Philip Schofield and Holly Willoughby, which we'll be talking about later, ITV's golden age of daytime programming came to an end. January 2026 saw swinging cuts announced to the division, including moving Loose Women to a basement studio and reducing its number of yearly episodes almost by half.
The number of editions of Lorraine and Loose Women are to be cut, and Lorraine's running time will be halved.
Hundreds of jobs were lost, while Lorraine and This Morning also felt the sting. Good Morning Britain got a half-hour extension to replace Lorraine Kelly's time slots, since she also lost nearly 24 weeks of programming. Apparently, this is all to give ITV more money to pump into its football coverage, because there wasn't enough of that already.
So what ITV is saying it's doing is saving money from its daytime schedule, where audience figures have been declining for a while. They're going to plough it into really big ticket shows.
Number 19, the 1979 strike.
ITV technicians want a 25% rise or they'll strike. Network bosses tell them it's 15% and no more.
There have been 3 major industrial actions in ITV's history, but the biggest and most expensive on the broadcaster's part happened in 1979. There was union outrage over ITV's swollen profit margins, with its increasingly lucrative broadcasting in the 1970s not getting passed on to its employees. 4 of the unions all went on strike at once, leaving ITV off the air for 11 weeks.
There was no Coronation Street, no Emmerdale Farm, no Crossroads, and of course, no commercials.
The mistake here was ITV not giving in to those demands sooner, preferring not to broadcast anything. And it was all for nothing, since the unions ultimately won. They could have given them the pay rise at the beginning and avoided all of this.
Right into the autumn, the ACTT's General Secretary Alan Sapper stared down ITV's bosses. And it was the bosses who blinked first.
Number 18, the Southern Television Hijack. The F-up in this case is a little less serious, because the whole reason somebody was able to hijack Southern Television in the first place was because the transmitter was old-fashioned and fed from another nearby transmitter instead of via cables. So, it was all too easy for this hoaxer to set up shop next to the transmitter and interrupt ITN's news broadcasting in late 1977. Then again, there's always the chance that Vrillian was a real alien invader warning us about a pan-galactic alien society and saying that we need to give peace a chance in order to join their community. Even at the time, credulous viewers thought the message might be a genuine communication. Number 17, stunt double dog on Britain's Got Talent. As if a dog winning Britain's Got Talent wasn't bizarre enough, we later found out that the dog that did the tricks wasn't even the same one. Jules and Matisse won hearts up and down the nation with their stunt routines, but in the finale, Matisse famously walked across a tightrope, no mean feat for a canine. But the following day, Jules revealed that it wasn't Matisse, but another dog, Chase, doubling for Matisse because Matisse is scared of heights. The public outrage was palpable, with Ofcom getting hundreds of complaints. The regulator even agreed that the performance had been misleading. Bizarrely though, some took it too far, allegedly sending Matisse death threats. Don't they know that dogs can't read?
It's so hard on a live show. Okay, so we can tell. It's very difficult on a live show to get the dogs to do what they want, but you know what's fantastic? It is your love for that dog.
Number 16, the demise of the regional franchises. ITV's regional franchises have long been a thing of the past, but they had a long, slow death after decades on the airwaves. By the 2000s, the individual franchises were slowly getting merged until eventually, in 2004, ITV plc was formed. Now, though there's some regional programming, it's nowhere near the level it was during what's now looking like ITV's golden age in the previous century.
I would like, if I may, on your behalf, to thank all of those thousands of men and women who've worked so creatively behind the cameras to bring you the best television we could.
It's easy to feel underserved by the broadcaster if you're from anywhere other than London. Then again, the same is arguably true for other broadcasting networks, including the BBC. Now we've really only got regional news programmes.
And for now, from all of us at Thames, past and present, we wish all of you a happy new year.
Number 15, ITV Play.
In just an hour's time here on ITV Play, we'll be finding out what's happening on Love Island.
Every channel thought that it was somehow a good idea, but none got in hot water as much as ITV and its short-lived ITV Play channel. Gone was ITV 2+1. Now there was this channel devoted to quizzes. Why? Because they could rake in a fortune scamming the public, charging them for every call they placed to the premium line trying to win those deceptively easy quizzes.
We're looking for jobs beginning with A.
Architect, maybe?
Airline host. Airline host. Steph. Or host. No. Answer. Ankle beater.
Questions were simple, but the answers were intentionally obscure. Fake winners would be brought on, so that ITV didn't actually have to give any of its money away, and sometimes people with the right answers would just never get through to the show. All the broadcasters got fined over this, and ITV Play bit the dust.
Generally, the attitude was that the public who were phoning in were stupid. If people are silly enough to enter these games, then they deserve to lose their money.
Number 14, Piers Morgan's tantrum.
I understand that you don't like Meghan Markle. You've made it so clear a number of times on this programme.
At a certain point, you have to wonder why they kept letting him bring up Meghan Markle, since it completely derailed the show and had already got extremely tired by the time he finally stormed off.
Yet you continue to trash her.
OK, I'm done with this.
No.
Sorry, no. Sorry.
Do you know what? That's pathetic.
You can trash him, maybe, not my
No.
Clearly, the Good Morning Britain gallery couldn't control Piers Morgan's behaviour, to the extent that they couldn't stop him from walking off after only mild criticism. He now does programmes that he's completely in charge of, able to say whatever he likes and complain about the Duchess of Sussex to no end.
Sorry. Can't do this.
This is absolutely diabolical behaviour.
But was it wise to try and beat the more balanced BBC breakfast by bringing on one of the most polarising men in Britain?
Following discussions with ITV, Piers Morgan has decided now is the time to leave Good Morning Britain.
Number 13, Ant McPartlin's drink driving.
Facing the cameras in unfamiliar and uncomfortable surroundings, Ant McPartlin headed into court, saying he's ashamed and mortified of events last month.
In 2018, it all came tumbling down for one half of Ant and Dec, when McPartlin was arrested and charged with drink driving. He was double the limit, getting into an accident in March involving 3 cars that certainly could have ended far worse.
The court heard how in his first police interview, the entertainer repeatedly answered no comment, but days later admitted his culpability and began to seek treatment.
Luckily, nobody was injured, and when McPartlin had his day in court the following month, he pleaded guilty and apologised, getting hit with a lengthy driving ban and an £86,000 fine, one of the biggest drink driving fines in British history. He went to rehab and cleaned up his act, taking a lengthy break from television to recover, and seems to be doing alright now.
I just want to say I'm truly sorry for what happened. Higher standards are expected of me. I expect them of myself. I let myself down. I let a lot of people down.
Number 12, the X Factor voting scandal.
Leon and Ridian, this is it. The moment of truth.
In the midst of the premium rate phone-in scandal, X Factor was another program that got in trouble with Ofcom for a dodgy voting system, overcharging viewers by £200,000 when they tried to vote by pressing the red button during Series 3. But this wasn't the first time that a scandal like that struck the show, as the 4th series, a hotly contested finale with Leon Jackson and Ridian Roberts, was also criticised by audiences who claimed their votes for Ridian hadn't been counted.
The public have voted, they've decided the winner of the X Factor 2007 is...
The investigation found that Jackson's fans also had issues voting for him, but neither in such a large number that it could have given Roberts the victory.
Leon!
Number 11, Catchphrase's Snake Charmer. Much as we love this legendary clip, you can't deny that somebody behind the scenes on Catchphrase should have realized that a lewd cartoon was being shown. Every time a new square was revealed, the audience got more and more uncontrollable, with nobody wanting to say what they were seeing. It became legendary and enjoyable moments for the studio audience, Mr. Chips and Mr. Chips' pet snake. The reboot had some similar issues with dicing with death and tail wagging the dog, both turning up and both looking like an act of self-pleasure. Much as we love these bloopers though, we can imagine that whoever was responsible got in a lot of trouble with the show's bosses.
Watch your screens, concentrate. Here we go. Sean!
Snake charmer.
Number 10, Queuegate.
Well, we wanted to come to pay our respects to the Queen because she was just such an amazing person. And
we've got a lot of this morning to get through now, so bear with us. In 2022, Queen Elizabeth II died and lay in state in Westminster for days. The long queue to see the Queen took hours to get through and became a phenomenon in its own right.
The rules were that we would be quickly escorted around the edges to a platform at the back. In contrast, those paying respects walked along a carpeted area beside the coffin.
But two people in particular didn't join the queue. Yes, Holly Willoughby and Philip Schofield were photographed, apparently skipping the line. Days later, we found out that they'd been filming a segment for This Morning and were in a completely different queue, but clearly ITV didn't consider the optics.
None of the broadcasters and journalists there took anyone's place in the queue, and no one filed past the Queen.
The entire thing was dubbed Queuegate, and Willoughby was forced to apologise.
Please know that we would never jump a queue.
Number 9, unwise but not illegal.
When did you first meet this young man in question? What were the circumstances?
I was invited by a friend of mine to go to a school.
Following Queuegate, TV's former golden duo, Willoughby and Schofield, were clearly on the rocks. This all culminated in Schofield's big scandal months later, where years of rumours turned out to be true, and he had been having an illicit affair with a younger runner. He says he was dropped by ITV, while ITV insists that he resigned, disappearing from television overnight after decades in the business.
In my statement, it says, consensual relationship, fully legal. I mean, that was approved by both sides.
He resurfaced for his desert island getaway, but any career comeback has not been forthcoming. The biggest mistake, though, was whichever person on his PR team came up with unwise but not illegal as an explanation for what he'd done. The phrase will live in infamy.
You've had a workplace fling, and you lie about it. And a great many people would have had a workplace fling and lied about it.
Number 8, product placements.
Hey Sainsbury's, usual big shop. Can you save me a few quid?
We have outrageously strict product placement rules in the UK, with shows getting hit with hefty punishments if they break them. But ITV eventually learnt its way around the regulations and, finally, started incorporating it into its soap operas. While according to Ofcom, ITV isn't doing anything wrong, with product placement clearly indicated by the little on-screen logo, from an audience perspective, we're not sure adding branches of Sainsbury's and Costa Coffee does much for the storytelling. The shops are also swapped in and out depending on sponsors, with a co-op existing for a few years, only to get subsumed by the Sainsbury's and Mini Argos. We hate it, even if Ofcom doesn't.
Too personalised?
Yeah, just a touch.
Agreed, we'll stick to prices.
Number 7. Crossroads ends twice.
Angela. Angela. Angela, wake up. Oh, right. Sorry, love.
Crossroads is riddled with F-ups, which is part of its enduring legacy, but not every blunder relating to it was the fault of its low production values.
That was the weirdest thing. It was like I drifted off to this very strange place. You what?
Behind the scenes, ITV itself and the show's bosses made plenty of bizarre choices, starting with the decision to leave the motel alone and attempt to rebrand the soap as being about the wider area of King's Oak. The brainchild of maligned producer William Smethurst.
It was a hotel and I owned it. I had these fantastic glitzy clothes.
It was revived in 2001, only to be cancelled for a second time when nobody watched it, ending with the infamously bad finale that revealed the reboot was simply a dream of Jane Asher's character, a supermarket worker who loved the original Crossroads.
Maybe some other time.
Maybe. Mr. Sampson.
Bye-bye, Angel.
Number 6. Gladiators backstage drama.
And guarding those baskets are our own mean machines, Warrior, Hunter, and the awesome Shadow!
Another production plagued with issues the audience couldn't see was the original run of Gladiators. Members of the public go against athletes and bodybuilders, with people often getting seriously injured in the process. The original version and both revivals have continued to be plagued with hospital trips and grisly wounds.
Gladstone tackled by Warrior, but still stretches out to score!
But it had a lot of other drama, including allegations of substance misuse that led to Shadow being fired, and Warrior also getting fired for involvement with a crime gang.
You must wait. You must wait for the starting whistle, or there will be a disqualification.
Clearly, ITV didn't realize it had to look after its stars, something that reality TV would learn in general nearly 20 years later, and too late for many people.
He's lost his balance. 1 second on the clock, it's all over.
Number 5. ITV Digital.
Digital terrestrial was hailed as a new force in British TV, and Carlton and Granada call their baby On Digital.
The early 2000s saw big changes in the television landscape, with the government launching a scheme to abolish analog TV and switch everybody over to digital signals.
Their first mistake was pretty basic. They hadn't produced enough boxes. Poor Mark Arnell had none to sell.
The change wasn't completed until later in the decade, however, years too late for ITV's first attempt, ITV Digital paid service. It cost nearly £200 and had already been beaten in price by Sky's far more attractive offering, spending a fortune to get Champions League broadcast rights.
It was all going horribly wrong. By June 2000, a year and a half in, they'd spent nearly £500 million with not much to show for it.
In the end, these expenses plus the strong competition and tens of thousands of pirates selling access to the channels for a pittance meant that in 2002, ITV Digital entered administration and over £1 billion of debt.
Most of ITV Digital's programmes went off the air this morning. The administrators pulled the plug after failing to find a buyer.
Number 4. Live animals on I'm a Celeb.
Is it going to bite?
No.
How do you know?
Not if you bite first.
This mistake was ongoing for years, despite numerous warnings and complaints from animal rights groups, but it wasn't until the 2010s that ITV finally realised that it's actually wrong to eat live animals. It's also not particularly ethical to involve animals in the trials at all. Snakes, spiders, and beetles are all living creatures and shouldn't be used just to frustrate the diets of hungry celebrities.
At least there's no eels in there. Well done, well done.
They still use animals and have revolting eating challenges involving an entire safari's worth of genitalia, but they don't eat them live anymore, much to the relief of the RSPCA both here and down under.
Oh my God! Oh, I
just can't do. I just couldn't have done a snake.
It's too much. Come down here.
Number 3. The coughing major.
We kick off tonight with a contestant returning from Saturday. Charles Ingram is here in the hot seat.
In hindsight, some people have questioned whether there was a need to go after Major Charles Ingram as ruthlessly as ITV did. After producers decided the Ingrams were cheating during a Who Wants to Be a Millionaire taping, they withheld the prize money, which is fair enough, but then pursued the Ingrams relentlessly in court.
On the £32,000 question, it looks like Diana's taken a massive gamble to help her husband cheat, but she's been spotted.
Major Ingram was eventually convicted of fraud for attempting to cheat the show, with him and his wife getting suspended 18-month prison sentences.
There was enough concern for production to decide that they needed to stop the recording, to rewind the tape, to look back at it.
Ingram resigned from the army and wasn't initially allowed to appeal, though he later did successfully. Some wonder why ITV went to these extreme lengths to punish when they didn't even get the money, though others say it's justified.
There was something in the air that was all a bit strange.
Number 2. Love Island's Aftercare.
If the perception of Mike Thalasitis was that of someone who had it all, his death is proof that mental health issues don't discriminate.
Gladiators had already started to raise questions about whether programs were looking after their stars, but this was amplified in the wake of 4 deaths connected to the Love Island revival. Former contestants Mike Thalasitis and Sophie Graydon, Graydon's boyfriend Aaron Armstrong, and presenter Caroline Flack all took their lives, with the deaths connected to media intrusion and social media trolling.
During her time on the show and afterwards, she was heavily trolled on social media about the way she looked.
All eyes were on ITV to do something to prevent this from happening again, with the broadcaster overhauling its aftercare to ensure contestants had support when dealing with their newfound fame and the scrutiny that comes with it. Many are shocked that Love Island remains on the air, however.
This review has led us to extend our support processes to offer therapy to all Islanders, and not only those that reach out to us.
Number 1. Jeremy Kyle.
Can I just say about this guy, he was on some medication, I believe, it doesn't matter what medication. So keen was he to come and do this lie detector. He went to his doctors and he found out about whether that was okay to do a lie detector.
You can't say that nobody warned ITV years ago that the Jeremy Kyle show was dangerous, exploitative, and was one day going to get at least one person killed. We now know that multiple former contestants took their own lives, but it was the death of Steve Diamond after failing a lie detector test that finally led to the show's immediate cancellation.
Why'd you lie so much?
If I knew the answer to that, Jeremy, I wouldn't be here.
That was after 14 years of Kyle's daily degradations of ordinary people, publicly humiliating them, and then eventually trying to get them some help. If it didn't disturb you at the time, it certainly makes for chilling viewing now, especially when the inquest released the unbroadcast footage of Diamond's appearance. Kyle himself has never apologized.
She said to me, he didn't need to lie, did you?
No,
he didn't need to lie.
I didn't
need to lie at all.
Not at all.
Do you think that ITV trying to sell itself to Comcast is another big mistake, or could it be the company's saving grace? Let us know in those comments below.